Hey, what's up guys? Colby Cheese here with another champion first impressions and guide video, this time for Nautilus, the Titan of the Depths.
Sometimes I think this anchor just weighs me down.
And this guy is one of Riot's most effing amazing champion releases in a while. I really like him. He's a great jungler. Probably won't work that well as a top lane just because he is kind of low damage and doesn't have a lot of sustain. He could possibly work as a support, similar to you putting a Leona down bottom or something like that. Either way, if you see this guy running at you, it's going to be completely scary. And check out this dude's dance moves. Anyways, feels like right now he's in a very good spot, and I could really see him being a top pick as his jungle time is pretty good and his ganks are really top notch. His level of crowd control is so great, and late game he actually does a lot of work. He's very tanky and hard to kill. His damage, while not being the best, is enough to at least give you a little bit of worry and concern if you leave him alive. He's kind of like a Sejuani 2.0 if you ask me. A little bit more damage than her, but with better crowd control and initiate, as well as he's quite a bit tankier overall. Let me go through all of his jungle route and build and how you're going to use his different abilities, and we'll just talk about how this kind of stacks up and works out in both the roaming early game phases as well as late game, and how he compares to other champions and that sort of thing, and you can make your own opinions as well. What I found to be the best route on Nautilus is to start at your wolves, and the best pull is to have someone else actually start the wolves so that they'll run towards your blue, and then you can kind of stop them right at that point. You'll kill the wolves without taking hardly any damage at all, and then get a pull on that blue as well. You'll finish off the blue, head towards the wraiths, and then skip the red, go down to the small golems, and after the small golems are dead, then do the red buff, and then do the race, which will have just respawned. And at that point, you can actually be level 4, and what you will have done is level up to your W first, and then your E, and then your W again, and once you finish those raids, you'll have your Q. You level that up, and then you can either go towards the middle lane, and then if you're on blue side, you can probably head straight down to the bottom, or if you're on the purple side, then you can go up towards the top. So just look at who has a better gank potential, the mid, bottom, or top, depending on which side you're on, and that works out really well. If there is no gank, you can either go on and finish up your wolves, try and do some counter jungling, or go back to your base and buy some items at that point. Now, what I'll usually do is start off with cloth and 5 health potions when I'm playing Nautilus. And as soon as you can, buy yourself a Philosopher's Stone. Once you're done with the Philosopher's Stone, you'll pick up boots and then go for the turtle shell, which is the heart of gold. And at that point, you can finish off your Merc Treads or go straight for an Aegis of the Legion. And that's pretty much your core build on Nautilus. Once you're done with that, you need to decide if the enemy team is mostly ability power, magic damage champions, or if they're going to be mostly physical. If they're mostly physical, and this is usually the case, then go for a Frozen Heart, and that will help you out the most. If not that, then go ahead and go for a Force of Nature, and then that'll give you the most resist against those teams. Runes and masteries are fairly simple. I will pick up 21 in defense, and then 9 into the utility, getting mostly the move speed and then damage reduction abilities on him. For the runes, I actually like to go for armor yellows, just a flat amount to help you out in the jungle. I'll go for attack speed on my reds to get that 15%, and then I'll do move speed quintessences and magic resist at level 18 for his blue. That should help him be mostly tanky, as well as being able to clear that jungle quickly, and that extra move speed to help you out in those gank situations. Cool thing about Nautilus is that even without a whole lot of damage items, he's still a huge threat, just because, similar to Leona, it's all about just using your abilities. And so let's go ahead and talk about his different abilities and how those work, both in ganks and in teamfight situations, as well as clearing out the jungle. First off, I'll go ahead and just mention his passive. It's actually his most beneficial skill, I'd say, and even though you don't have to do anything for it to be useful. All his passive does is every time you, well, not every time, but the first time you auto attack something, it'll root it into place for a short duration. The cool thing is that it'll actually root each target that you attack. So if you attack one person, and it'll root them, and then if you change your targets and attack something else, it'll root them. Of course, there is a cooldown to where it won't root the same target more than once for every couple of seconds. But either way, it's a great way to initiate. Once you get up to someone, you can auto attack them, lock them down, and that's going to help you get off a lot of ganks, as well as help you peel off assassins in team fights that are on top of your carries. His passive combined with his next ability, which is Dredge Line, is actually much better than I had first thought it would be. So what it does is it allows you to pull yourself either to terrain, which, by the way, if you pull to terrain will half the duration, or the cooldown I should say, and it's a great way to catch up or to escape. Also, if you attack an enemy with the Dredge Line, it'll pull you halfway to them and then them halfway to you. The hitbox is actually a lot wider than the Blitzcrank grab, so it's actually very easy to land. Also, the range is a little bit shorter than Blitz grab, so you have that little bit of a trade-off. In either case, it is going to allow you to really do a lot of work, both in initiating team fights as well as early on getting those really strong ganks off from the jungle. In this clip, I come up for a gank onto the Ziggs in the mid Cho'Gath lane. Once I see him pop his head out, I'm going to go in for a max range pull with Dredge Line, grab him just barely, and I'll lock him down with my passive from my auto attack and give Cho'Gath just enough time to finish him off with the Ignite, and that's one extra assist for me. In this one, I feel there's a great opportunity to gank the middle lane against this Mordekaiser, as he doesn't really have a lot of escape potential. So I'm going to walk up and watch as I'm actually going to wait to use my Dredge Line. I wanted to walk up and hit him with my auto attack. So he went ahead and popped his flash. I know that's the perfect opportunity to use it, so I got him with my Dredge Line, hit him with the passive, and we grabbed the kill. Dredge Line also works as a great escape tool, so in this fight here, I'm going to run in and try to bruise anyone in the back line while my team finishes off everyone in the front and sandwich them at the tower. Unfortunately, I'm the one who gets caught out behind, so I'm using my flash as well as my Shurelius to make my escape. I'll pop my Titan's Wrath for the shield to try and escape, and I'll Dredge Line right up to the turret at max range for the very low HP escape with my oracles, and I heal up at the turret. Titan's Wrath is his next one, which is your W. This is the ability that you actually level up first. It gives you a very quick jungling time, because what happens is when you pop it, not only do you get a very significant shield, which scales off of your bonus health, but you'll also get a lot of AoE damage to creeps around you. So every time you auto attack, you're going to do a ticking dot damage to creeps in an AoE. So this is going to get you through the jungle. You can also gank and tower dive a little bit before dying and your shield pops off, as well as giving you that just extra bit of burst to really help you finish off any ganks that you get going. So the other thing about the W that it doesn't actually say that it does, but I tested it and it does seem to do, is that W will actually reset your auto attack. So try and use it intelligently. In other words, do a regular auto attack and then instantly pop your Titan's Wrath, which will reset that and allow you to do the most damage possible in the shortest amount of time. Yeah. Nautilus's Riptide is what you'll take at level 2, and you'll actually max it by level 13. It allows him to do a little bit of extra damage, not a whole lot, but mostly it's great because it gives him an added slow and a little bit of extra AoE in the jungle as well. If you're able to use the Riptide right as somebody's running away and they're right on top of you, it'll actually kind of chase them out and hit them about 3 times, doing a little bit of extra damage. So try and time your Riptide so that when you initiate on someone, and they're obviously going to be running away, pop your Riptide as they're running away, and you'll do that extra bit of damage and possibly get you a kill that you would not have normally been able to do. Finally, his Depth Charge may be his actual coolest ability. Honestly, it's not really the most impressive or useful part of him. Honestly, I think the coolest part of Nautilus is the fact that he can do his Dredge Line into his passive combo. But honestly, the whole thing together is just amazing. So you add all of the CC that he already has together, and then he's got this ultimate, which you can cast it on the last person in the fight, behind somewhere on the carry, and boom, 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 knocks everybody up just like Lee Sin's kick. And it'll knock that final person way up into the air and stun them. So he has an amazing range of CC that is kind of unparalleled by almost any other champion in the game. It really makes him a ridiculous crowd control bot / initiator with the ability to really bruise down the enemy's carry or mage in any teamfight situation. So I feel that this ultimate is really useful in a lot of different situations. You just have to make sure you know when to use it. Try to save it until you can actually find that carry behind some of the other champions in the fight, or if it's going to help you guys actually catch someone. It doesn't do like the biggest amount of damage, so don't use it as like a kill shot ability. Use it as what it is, a CC, a crowd control, and try to make the best use of it. So I feel like playing Nautilus is all about flowing through the jungle and ganking at every single opportunity. Since he does have probably one of the strongest ganks in the game, even at just level 4, I feel like he's probably meant to be used. I mean, always look for those gank opportunities. Get you know, one creep camp, look for a gank. If it's not there, get another creep camp, look for a gank. And you can almost always at least pop someone's flash or whatever the case is. The cool thing about him is that even if you don't have mana and you can just walk up to somebody, you're going to CC them with your passive, so he's always useful in that type of situation. And that's the cool thing about him. Now, I think Nautilus will most likely be in games with a large number of assists rather than kills. You're not going to be getting all the KSs because, again, he doesn't do a whole lot of damage. But it'll definitely feel like it was you that caused your team to win in many situations, and that's how I felt. Honestly, when I first watched the Nautilus patch preview and I saw him in play, he didn't really look as fun to me, but when I started playing him, he just feels very rewarding to play, and I think a lot of people will enjoy him. Another cool thing is that Nautilus doesn't actually have so much in the way of skill shots. Sure, his dredge line is a skill shot ability, but again, it is much easier to land than Blitzcrank grab, at least in my personal opinion. So I feel that with a little bit of practice, not a lot, you can actually get the hang of this guy, and with the right build and smart play, almost anyone can do well with him. And again, I think he is going to be a top contender for one of the best junglers right now. I'd say if you already bought him, then you made the right choice, and if you are a jungler, then I would definitely pick him up and make him part of your arsenal. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, show your support, and as always, I've got a music video portion here sung by my roommate, Mr. James Blonde, which you can check out on our second channel, Cheesy Blonde Guys, and I'll see you guys around for the next one. Peace out.